Hey guys, Dr. Ryan Davis with Thrive Chiropractic in Montgomery, Alabama. Today I wanted to take a minute to talk about a common myth and a common misconception. Very common occurrence to have an athlete come into the clinic and say something along the lines of, I know I got hurt because I wasn't doing enough stretching or enough mobility. So it's a really common thought process, but here's why that's not a great process of thought. Yes, we do need a certain amount of mobility in each joint to perform whatever the task is that we're going to be asking of our body, whether that's a CrossFit athlete that's squatting or deadlifting, Olympic lifting, or even a runner that's going to be running. We need a certain amount of mobility, but more important than that, we also need to be able to control and have stability in that range of motion that we create. So having mobility, just to have mobility, is not protective of injury. In fact, there's a lot of people out there that have enough mobility, maybe even an excessive amount of mobility for the task that they perform, but they don't have great control over that mobility. And that is really more of an injury risk than just being stiff. The other reason for that is that, yes, it may be a mobility issue somewhere along the chain, but not necessarily the joint that's injured. So, for instance, a lot of people have knee problems or have shoulder problems, but the overload or the overstress of that tissue is actually coming from a mobility issue somewhere else. For instance, lack of ankle mobility, forcing the knee into a bad plane of motion to where it gets overloaded and injured, or a stiff thoracic spine that creates overload in the shoulder joint. So it's not just stretching the joint that hurts that's going to protect you from injury. It's having an adequate amount of mobility first, and then stability and control over all those ranges of motion in the gym. So that's really what's protective of injury. To get to the bottom of it, you really need a full functional assessment to identify exactly what joints you need to be mobilizing and what joints you really need to be creating more stability. So hope that kind of clears up a common misconception out there and gives you guys a little more clarity. Thanks.